Welcome, the GMAETS41's basic scholars. I'm happy to meet you friends once again today in our class as we continue from where we stopped in our previous simple equation class. I want to believe that you have already taken the classes on collecting of like terms, dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown, cross multiplication, and also combine operations, right? Combine basic simple principal equations that we have in simple equation. So in this class, we are going to focus on an aspect of simple equation that involves brackets. If you are given a simple equation and you have brackets in it, how do you handle that? That is what we are going to see in our class today. Okay, so once again, I welcome you to the class as you're about to kick off. All right, trying to look at the condition of network. Trying to look at the condition of network before I will kick off the class fully. Like I said, we are going to be looking at equations that involve brackets. So you will learn how to remove brackets. And when you're talking about removing brackets, that has to do with expansion. It's a very interesting thing that we have to learn today from our class. All right, so let's see. I hope you are ready for the class as I start the class fully now. So to start with, we're going to look at a short secret, okay, that will guide you whenever you have problems involving brackets in a simple equation. Okay, when you have problems involving brackets in simple equation, Arnav Baines, you're welcome to the class. Okay, you're welcome. So this is the short secret that will guide us. So we go this way. Remember the following secret. The following secrets when simple equation involves brackets. When simple equation involves brackets. So you want to take note of the following secrets. Yes, like I said, they are secrets. And so you don't joke with it, please. You don't joke with it. And whenever you hear something like basic maths, as this class is dedicated to our basic scholars, even those in higher class, you need a times plus will be equal to plus. This is about sign operation in mathematics. Plus times plus will give you plus. Then number 2, then 3 and 4. The next one is minus times minus. Minus times minus will still give you plus. So what does this number 1 and number 2 secret tell you? It is telling us that if we have the same signs and we are multiplying the same signs, what we are going to get will be plus. What we are going to get will be plus. I'll give you an example here, a little example. Let me squeeze it here. I just hope it can. All right, I know what I'm going to do. I'll bring it down for you to understand this idea. E.g., if I give you, let's say, minus 2 times minus 3, this will be equal to, you notice I have minus 2. Then after that, you have times minus 3. This minus times minus will change to plus. And then 2 times 3 will give you 6. So you see, minus 2 times minus 3 is equal to plus 6. I have a special video lesson that teaches this idea of sign operations. When I think that lesson is on number line. So you can still go to Basic Maths playlist on this channel and take the number line class. You will learn more still from there. Okay, now let us look at this. Oh no, I use minus here. And then 2 times 3 will give you 6. Okay, the second one is minus times minus, as I wrote before I wiped it, will give you plus. Again, you have the same signs here. Minus times minus, it will change to plus. Let us look at an example here. E.g., if I give you minus 2 times minus 3, this will be equal to, now watch, the same signs, minus times minus. You do the signs first. Minus times minus. Perform the operation. Carry out the mathematics work on the signs first before you can multiply the numbers. So minus times minus will give you plus. And then 2 times 3 will give you 6. So do you see? The same signs, when you multiply, it changes to plus. Number 3, plus times minus will be equal to minus. I'll give you an example here to understand what this is. Imagine that I have plus 2 times minus 3. What will be your answer? You do plus times minus first. You will do plus times minus first. I hope the network is not disturbing. I hope the network is not disturbing. Good. We are together. So you will do plus times minus first. This plus times minus will change to minus. And then you move on to do 2 times 3, which will give you 6. A quick example here, e.g., if I give you minus 2 times plus 3, the answer you will get will be, first, you do minus times plus. Minus times plus will give you minus. Minus times plus will give you what? Minus. And then 2 times 3 will now give you 6. So as a quick summary, a conclusion to what I have written here as secrets. Anytime you have the same signs, you are multiplying the same signs. Maybe you have numbers that you want to multiply and their signs are the same. If you multiply those numbers, the sign of your answer will be plus. You see that here, plus times plus equal to plus. Then look at this, minus times minus, the same sign still, and it changed to plus. But if you have different signs, look at this number 3 and number 4. If you have different signs, like plus times minus, if you multiply them, you will get minus. Different signs, you multiply, get minus. So what I showed you here, please, my dear friends, is the same as when you have division. If this is plus divided by plus, you will still get plus. Minus divided by minus, you will get plus. The idea is simple. The same signs, if you are operating on them, using either times or divide, you will get plus, positive number. And then if you have different signs, whether it is multiplication or division of different signs you are doing, your final answer will carry minus. So this secret, you want to remember it. Toben Gaming, I'm in year 7. That's good. You're welcome to the class. Let me check. I hope the network is cool, right? All right, let's move on. So these are secrets you want to remember. Then number 5. Secret number 5 you want to remember. When you open bracket, with a positive number, comma, the signs in the bracket will not change. The signs in the bracket will not change. Will not change. So take note of this. The signs in the bracket will not change. I'll give you an example here, e.g., imagine that I have something like plus 2 open bracket plus 2 open bracket, and then this is 3 minus 4. If you open this bracket, or let me say this is x minus 4. These two will multiply x. These two will multiply x to give you 2x plus 2x, the sign plus 2x. Then these 2 will multiply this 4. But before these 2 multiplies this 4, observe plus times minus, you will still maintain the minus there. That is why I say that the sign inside the bracket will not change. Then now do 2 times 4, you get 8. Did you notice something? That inside the bracket, the signs we have there are plus and minus, because this x, the sign is plus. When you multiplied 2 by this x, you still have plus 2x. Then this 4, the sign is minus. When you multiply these 2 by that minus, the sign of the answer you got did not change. That sign in the bracket remains minus. Are you following? If this is plus, and you are multiplying it by a positive number from outside, the sign will still remain plus in your final answer. So the idea is this: if positive number is opening bracket, if positive number is opening bracket, because this thing you are seeing, this bracket is interpreted to mean times. This is minus 2 times whatever you have in the bracket. So if what you are using to open up the bracket is plus, if it is positive number, the signs in the bracket will remain the same. Finally, number 6. When you open bracket with a negative number, the signs in the bracket will change. The signs in the bracket will change. The signs in the bracket will change. I'll give you an example there to understand what we mean. The signs in the bracket will change. So this is the example I have here. Assuming you have minus 2 this time around, open bracket, x, and then minus 4. What will you get? So the sign in the bracket are plus x, plus, and then minus 4, minus. So the signs we have in the bracket are plus and minus. Now you are using a negative number, minus 2, to open up the bracket. What will happen to this plus x here? That plus will change to minus. And what will happen to this minus 4 here? This minus will change to plus in the answer you are going to get. The reason is because you are using a negative number to open bracket. So it is still the same as what I wrote here. Minus times plus. This bracket is interpreted to mean plus. Minus times, this x has plus. Minus times plus, different signs will give you minus. That minus 2 to multiply minus 4. Like I told you, if you have minus a negative number outside, opening the bracket, the sign in the bracket will change. So this minus you are seeing here will change to plus. The reason is simple. Minus times minus. This bracket is times. Minus times minus will change to plus. Look at the same signs. That is why this sign here will change to plus when a negative number is opening it. Then you now use 2 to multiply 4. What I did here to get plus is simply minus times minus. The sign inside the bracket will change. 2 times 4 will give you 8. So do you see? When you are opening up brackets, we call it expansion in mathematics. We call it expansion. How to remove brackets. When you open bracket with a positive number, the signs in the bracket will not change. So here, the final answer we are going to get here will still be positive of the x and negative of this part of 4. I gave you an example here. 2 times x will give you 2x, positive. And then 2 times minus 4 will give you minus 8. So you see the signs in the bracket remained in our final answer. The reason is because the sign outside the bracket, the number outside the bracket is a positive number. Then when you open bracket with a negative number, the signs in the bracket will change. The negative number outside that bracket that you are using to open up the bracket, that negative number will change the signs in the bracket. So if you have plus in the bracket, the plus will change to minus. If you have minus in the bracket, the minus will change to plus. Now let me say this quickly before we pick our first question. A student, no matter your level of learning, this channel, this GMAETS41's channel is dedicated to basic scholars, yes. But this is not just all about basic scholars. Even if you're in university, if you don't understand this thing I've just said, you can't handle problems on basic arithmetics. You can't. So please take this seriously. Take this seriously. Simple equation is a topic that all level of learning need. Now that I've explained this, please, you can screenshot. I hope you've been following up, copying, finish up what you have on the board so that I can wipe it, then we pick questions, all right? This class is not meant to be more than 1 hour. It's just a 1 hour class or even less. So I've explained the things you should know whenever you are dealing with equations that involves, brackets. You want to remember these 6 key points. They are the secrets. In fact, remember the following secrets. Let me underline secrets. And you don't joke with secrets of something. All right, I'm going to wipe the board now. Let's pick our first question. At the end of this class, a copy of this live class will be made available. At the end of this class, a copy of this live class will be available, so you can come back and still watch it. If you have not copied your notes, that time you can now copy it, okay? Very important. By the time you come back, you can control me. You can pause me. You can take me back. Maybe I say something and you don't understand. You can take me back, okay? All right, let's take our first question as we have here. Example 1. Example 1. So this is what we have. Solve the equation. Solve the equation. Solve the equation. 2 bracket x plus 3 equal to 12 minus x. So we have to solve this equation that you have on the board. Share the link to this live class to your friends, to your neighbors, to your classmates. Tell them about GMAETS41 Basic Class YouTube channel. This channel is dedicated to our basic scholars. Here I calmly teach these young ones step by step so that they can be excellent in their schoolworks. This is an online school. Please, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. And of course, I encourage your younger ones to follow up with our classes. Turn on the notification bell after you subscribe. If you click that notification bell, select all, so that anytime I upload any video, anytime we have class, YouTube will inform you, so you'll be aware that there is a class for you to connect. We are going to solve this question, and then let's learn more how we can apply the secrets I have explained or given to you. The question given is 2 bracket x plus 3. That will be equal to 12 minus x. First of all, let us look at this bracket. This bracket, the sign you have in the bracket is plus plus. You can see that now. Then look at the number you have outside. This number you have outside is a positive number. This is plus 2. That is why you are not seeing any minus here, nothing like minus in front of these 2. So this number outside the bracket is plus 2. Now, if you are opening bracket, if you are removing the bracket, this plus 2 must affect everything in that bracket. Plus 2 must affect all the terms in the bracket. Here we have 2 terms, this x and this 3. So this 2 will multiply x and the 2 will multiply 3. Remember that this bracket is multiplication if you're interpreting it. So we are going to have 2 times x. This 2 is positive, like I've said. X here is positive, so the sign will remain the same. It will not change. Or simply you can say the sign in front of this 2 is plus. You want to use this 2 to multiply this x in the bracket. the sign in front of the x is also plus. So you do plus times plus, and plus times plus will still give you plus. If you are multiplying the same signs, you will get plus. Good. Then move on to use 2 to multiply this x. 2 times x will give you 2x. All right, let me just show the working. This is 2 times x. Then before you move on to this 3, you can just write the plus in front of that 3. You can write the plus. Why? That plus will not change. That plus will not change because the number that you are using to open the bracket, the number just before the bracket is a positive number. So the sign inside the bracket will remain the same. So I can just simply bring down this plus before I use 2 to multiply 3. Before I use 2 to multiply 3. But again, the explanation is simple. This 2 is positive plus. This 3 inside the bracket has plus. So you do plus times plus. Plus times plus will still give you plus. That is why I said if you use a positive number to open bracket, the signs inside the bracket will not change. All right, so I bring down this my plus. 2 times 3 will give you 6. But let me still write it. 2 times 3. I have opened the bracket. I have opened the bracket. In fact, let me write it here. Let me write it for you what I've done. Remove the bracket or open the bracket. Open or remove bracket. Open or remove bracket. Remove or expand the bracket or expand the bracket. The bracket. So the mathematical step, what we are going to do to this bracket is either called opening of bracket, open bracket, or you can write remove bracket, or you can write expand bracket. Like I said, you move on. 2 times x will give you 2 times x like this. All the signs will remain the same because the sign outside, the number outside is a positive number. Then bring down your plus, like I explained already. And then you have plus here. 2 times 3. Do that. You write 2 times 3. I have expanded. So if you are learning expansion in mathematics, what I've done here is what we mean by expansion. Write down what you have on the right-hand side of the equation. That right-hand side, you have 12 minus x. See, I'm taking my time on this first question, even the second question, so you understand how bracket is being removed, how we expand. Okay, so from here, 2 times x will give us 2x plus 2 times 3 will give us 6. You use your board mass. You have to do multiplication first. So you do this multiplication, you do this multiplication. So you have 2 times x, you bring it down, 2x. Before you do 2 times 3, you have plus, so bring down the plus. 2 times 3 is 6. You replace this 2 times 3 to get that, replace it with 6 because 6 is the answer of 2 times 3. Then after your 2 times 3, you see equal to. Put your equal to 12 minus x. You cannot subtract this. You can't do this minus because they are not like terms. I have taught you all of these in our previous classes. So you still write 12 minus x. Now, at this point, you notice that what we are looking for, the unknown is x. The unknown is x. And that unknown, you would see that between it, look at here, you have an unknown. This 2x. And then you now have 6 on this left-hand side of the equation. Between this 6 and this 2x, this unknown part, you have plus. So you must collect like terms here. You must. The right-hand side, you have the unknown, term. You have the unknown there also. And then you now have 12 on that right-hand side. Between the unknown and 12, you have minus. I remember teaching you that you collect like terms when you see plus or minus between the unknown and something else. So here I am going to collect like terms. When we treated that, I told you I'll be using CLT, collect like terms. And usually I like moving alphabets to the left and numbers to the right. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell, select all so that you will not be missing our classes. Please, it's for your good. Okay, let's go. Now on the left hand side, I have 2x. I want to move all the alphabets to the left. So this becomes 2x on the left. I will come to the right and remove this minus x. I'll remove that alphabet from the right and take it to the left. If this minus x is coming to the left, it will cross this equal to. If minus crosses equal to, it will change to plus. Look at what I have done. I am bringing all the alphabet to the left-hand side. So that is why when I wrote 2x, the next thing I had to do was to bring this minus x to the left. If the minus crosses equal to, it will change to plus x. Then this 6, I will not write it on the left. That 6 is a pure number. It is a lifetime of this 12, pure number. So I will take that 6 to the right-hand side. Now that I've written 12x and then minus x comes and changes to plus x. I've written all the alphabets. We are now looking at the pure number. So this will now be equal to, fixed equal to, before you write the pure number on the right-hand side. On that right-hand side, the pure number we have there already, which is the honor of that right-hand side, is 12. So bring down the 12, then move plus 6 to the right-hand side. If plus 6 is crossing to the right-hand side, this plus crossing equal to will change to minus. So you have minus 6. Simplify this thing you have here. 12x plus x. 2x rather, not 12x. 2x plus x. This is 1x. So 2 of x plus 1 of x. 2x plus x will give you 3x. And that will be equal to 12 minus 6 will give you 6. 12 minus 6 will give you 6. Wiping here so that we conclude. I am taking my time to explain all these things in this first question. These things are very important for any scholar at the level of education. At this point, you have 3x equal to 6. So you now have to divide both sides, dbs by 3. dbs by 3. 3x equal to 6. We have learned dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. When do you divide both sides of an equation? By the coefficient, by what is multiplying the unknown. I have taught you that. And if you look at this, it happens here. The unknown is x. The quotient is 3 because 3 is multiplying x. This is 3 times x equal to 6. At this point, you have to divide both sides by the quotient of the unknown, which is 3. So I am going to have 3x equal to 6. Divide here by 3. Divide here by 3. Divide the right side by 3. When you do this, you'll agree with me that this 3 will divide this 3. And when they divide, you'll be left with x equal to 6 over 3. And then x will now be equal to 6 divided by 3 will give you 2. 6 divided by 3 will give you 2. So this is our answer. This is our answer. So in this equation, the value of x is 2. The value of x is 2. All right, dear friends, we are done with this first question. We are done with this first question. And I hope you understood what I did there. I hope you understood what I did there. Finish up what you have on the board so that I can wipe it, and then we'll move on to our second question. So, anyone who wants to understand maths completely, you want to follow GMAETS41 on this basic class channel. Very important. If you want to be smart in calculation, especially for science students, which you know, physics, those in higher class, you learn physics, you learn chemistry, you learn further maths. So to my basic scholars, you are in maybe grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9. You don't need to play with your calculation. See, maths will help to develop your brain. So all these little things you are learning now to help to develop your brain. When you go to higher class, you'll be doing wonders. Be doing wonders in all your subjects. That is the secret. Okay, let's move on to question number 2. Let's move on to question number 2. Okay, example 2. Example 2. Let us see what we have here. In this example 2, we have 3. Find x in 3 brackets 10, 10x minus 3 equal to 2 brackets 4x plus 5. Find x in this equation that you have on the board. Find x in this equation. Solution. Solution. Like I've always said, if you have a problem, you want to solve it, you find a solution to that problem. So the question given to us is 3 bracket 10x minus 3 equal to 2 bracket 4x plus 5. Good. So again, look at the number that is outside the bracket. Look at the number here. This is 3. That 3 is positive. You can see it plus 3. That is why there is no minus there. Look at this 2 here. That is to open this bracket. Because just after this 2, you see the bracket. There is no plus. There is no minus. There is no divide between these 2 and the bracket. That is why we know that the 2 is multiplying the bracket. Right? It's multiplying. So the sign of this 2 is plus. Which means if you are opening the bracket, if you are removing the bracket, the signs inside the bracket will remain the same. The sign will not change because you are using positive number to open that bracket. So at this point, I will write open bracket, open bracket. I have told you, you can decide to write remove bracket or expand. So this 3, we multiply everything inside the bracket. This 3 is plus 3. Now look at this 10. What is the sign, the mathematical sign of this 10? Is it plus or minus? It is plus. That is why there is no minus there. So this is plus 10x, which means if I'm using this 3 to multiply this 10x, the sign of the answer I'm going to get will still be plus. So let us do that. I have shown you how you do the solving, Maybe let me still do it here. I don't know. Or I could just go straight. I will go straight. Nothing is there. You followed along when I solved this. We are multiplying. So I will do 3 times 10. This 3 is plus 3. This 10 is plus 10. Plus times plus. Remember, we give you plus. So 3 times 10 will give you 30. That will be 30x. 3 times 10x will be 30x. Simply 3 times 10, you get 30. Then attach the x. This is 30x. Then before you use this 3 to now multiply this minus 3 inside the bracket, remember I told you the signs you have in the bracket will not change because you are using a positive number to open the bracket. Therefore, I will simply bring this minus down. I'll bring it down. And then I'll use this 3 to multiply this 3. 3 times 3 will give you 9. 3 times 3 will give you 9. Now, let me show you something again. This 3 is plus. The 3 outside here is plus that you're using to open the bracket. This 3 inside the bracket is minus. If you do plus times minus, you will get minus. Different signs, if you multiply them, plus times minus, you get minus. You see? But the simple thing, like I said, bring that minus down straight. Why? The number you're using to open the bracket is positive. So the sign inside the bracket will not change. Okay, I have opened this bracket. The next thing you see is equal to. Do the same thing here. Use this 2 to multiply 4x. Use the 2 to multiply plus 5. Again, this 2 is positive. So all the signs in the bracket will remain the same. They will not change. The sign you have in the bracket is plus 4x, and then plus 5. So if I open this bracket, everything will be plus. Nothing will be minus there. So we go. 2 times 4 will give you 8. So this will be 8x. 2 times 4x is equal to 8x. Then, before I work on 2 times 5, I'll simply bring down this plus. The plus that belongs to this 5, bring it down because it will not change. You're using positive number to multiply it. Plus times plus will give you plus. Then 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. Good. At this point, you collect like terms. At this point, you do what? Collect like terms. Because you notice that the unknown part between it and something else, you have either plus or minus, as the case might be. So here, I will collect like terms. C, L, T. I want to move all the alphabets to the left and all the numbers, pure numbers to the right, because these are the like terms. This is 30x. This is 8x. 30x is the alphabet on the left-hand side, so I will write it first. I'll now bring this 8x to meet 30x. The 8x on the right-hand side is positive, is plus. So if it crosses to the left, it will change to minus. So you have minus 8x. So I have written all the alphabet on the left, 30x, then 8x crosses equal to and change to minus 8x. Now I want to write the pure numbers on the right hand side because I'm collecting all pure numbers to the right. Before doing that, put equal to, because you have equal to there. Go to the right hand side. The pure number that is on the right hand side already is 10. So I'll write my 10 there. Minus 9 will cross. If minus 9 crosses equal to sign and come to the right, it will change to plus 9. We now have to simplify this 30 minus 8x and simplify 10 minus 10 plus 9. You know, to simplify means to make it easier. Make it much more easier. Simplify it. So let us see. 30x minus 8x. If you have 30 of x and you are owing someone 8 of x, you know, you have to remove the 8 and pay the person. You will still have 22x. It's just like if you have 30 oranges and then you remove 8 oranges and give to somebody because you are owing the person. Minus means you are owing. I have said this before. If you pay the person, out of the 30, you will be left with 22. So this will give us 22x if you simplify it. It means 30x minus 8x together. Under it, it will now, you're going to write 22x. Then the right hand side, 10 plus 9, will give you 19. I hope you understand this. I am going to wipe this other side of the board. So I encourage you to finish up what you have there. You can screenshot it. Okay, so that we'll now finish up the solving. This is interesting. So you see, maths is very simple. And like I've said, maths is a game. It's a game. If you follow up the GMAETS41's basic class regularly, you will enjoy all these things. So my dear friends in basic level of learning, basic 4, basic 5, basic 6, basic 7, basic 8, basic 9. Don't joke with this, okay? Enjoy maths. Enjoy maths. It's for your own good. It will develop your brain. It will help you to know how to handle things, how to solve problems, even in real life. To help you to think fast. From here, gradually, I will coach you and you become best in your class. Yes, that is a promise I'm giving to you. But you have to do the right thing. And what is the right thing? Make sure you connect to this class always. Can even tell teachers that are handling basic level of learning, this platform, GMAETS41 basic class, they can learn from this platform and use it to teach their basic scholars also. And those in higher class, remember, you still need a lot of this information. You need to learn these things. All right, so we are moving on. Like I said, 30x minus 8x will give you 22x. So in place of that 30x minus 8x, I'll write 22x. That will now be equal to 10 plus 9 will give you 19. 10 plus 9 will give you 19. At this point, you do dbx. dbx by what? Divide both sides of the equation by the coefficient of the unknown. And the coefficient of the unknown is 22 because 22 is multiplying the unknown. Now watch. If I divide this left-hand side by 22, it will be 22x over 22. 22 will divide, themselves to give you only x. So I want to just transfer x down here. That will be equal to, I'll go to the right-hand side and then divide that 19 by 22. 19 and 22, nothing can divide them. Nothing can reduce them. So that is the final answer. 19 is a prime number. And only 19 and 1 can divide 19. Okay, 19 cannot divide 22. So there is nothing you can do here again. This is the simplest solution you can get. So x is equal to 19 over 22. We are going to take another question. We're going to take another question. We have 2 more questions to go. So finish up what you have on the board. Finish up what you have on the board so that I can wipe the board. Then we'll move on to the next example. Finish up. I hope you are learning. That's good. So let us move on to the next question. Let us move on to the next question. That would be example what? Example 3. Example 3. Example 3. I'll wipe everything that we have on the board here so that I can move on to example 3. Like I said, at the end of this class, a copy of this video will be made available. So you can always still come back and then take the lesson again. Besides, when you are learning, it is all right. The network interfered. Let me watch and see. The network interfered and be patient a little, please. Please, this network, be patient. Let's round off. Be patient so we can round off. Okay, so the network is back. Example 3, we have this question. Solve the equation. Solve the equation. So the equation is 5 minus open brackets y plus 2 equal to 6 minus 3y. We have to solve this equation. All right, so the network is cool still for now. So let us see how we solve this particular question. It is still the same principle, the same procedure. The only thing is for you to always check the number that you are using to open the bracket, you are using to remove the bracket. Is it a positive number or a negative number? So the question we have here is 5 minus y plus 2 equal to 6 minus 3y. Now on the left-hand side of the equation, you have a bracket. You have what? A bracket. And there are 2 terms on that left-hand side of the equation. Let me show you the term. 5 is one of the terms. Then this whole bracket is the second term. You see, we use plus and minus to count the number of terms. Here we have minus. So this is one term. And then everything we have inside this bracket is another one term. So on the left-hand side, we actually have 2 terms. But then let me show you something. Inside the bracket alone, we have 2 terms. Like I said, we use plus and minus to count the number of terms. Trying to make sure the network is still there. Yeah. We use plus and minus to count the number of terms. Come to the bracket alone. You have y. After that, you see plus before 2. So y is a term there, and 2 is another term. So we have 2 terms inside the bracket. But if I just say on the left-hand side alone, how many terms do we have? We have 2 terms still, which are 5 and this whole bracket. Anyway, let's move on. It is not how to count number of terms I'm teaching you. At this point, we are going to remove bracket, which is the same as open bracket. Remove bracket. Remove bracket. Now, look at this. Just before this bracket, you have minus. This minus you have there is the same as minus 1. The number that is opening this bracket is not this 5. Please take note. It's not this 5. When you are removing bracket, the number that removes bracket is the number you see. Immediately after the number, you will see your bracket. There will be no plus, there will be no minus, there will be no divide, separating the number from the bracket. Just after the number, you see the bracket. So you want to take note. It is not 5 that is opening this bracket. It's not 5. What is opening this bracket is what you have just after this minus, and that is an invisible 1. Let me show you. If I give you minus y plus 2, this is the same as minus 1 open bracket y plus 2. If we have 1 multiplying something, we don't usually show that one. We don't. If I give you 1 times 2 now, it is still the same as 2. So if you see 2 alone here, is the same as 2 times 1 or 1 times 2. So remember, please, what is opening this bracket here is minus 1. Minus 1. That minus is invisible. What is the meaning of invisible? You can't see it. So we don't show that one. All right, so let's move on. For that reason, I'm going to bring down my 5 the way it is. I'm using minus 1 to open the bracket. Remember the secret I gave to you. It's secret number 6. If a negative number is opening bracket, the signs inside the bracket will do what? Change. I repeat, if a negative number is opening bracket, the signs inside the bracket will do what? Change. And that is what we see here. This is minus 1 opening the bracket. So all the signs inside the bracket will change. If you have plus inside the bracket, it will change to minus. If you have minus inside the bracket, it will change to plus. Reason, because a negative number, a minus number is opening that bracket. Look at this, y is plus here. This 2 is also plus. So if I open the bracket, the plus of y will change to minus y. The plus of 2 will change to minus. Are you following, right? Then you now use the number outside the bracket to multiply it. So we go. What we have here is minus 1. 1 is to be used to open bracket. I'm using bracket here. So it's going to be 1 times y. And 1 times anything is that thing. 1 times y is y. Therefore, 1 times this y, I am meant to bring down y. But like I told you, the sign of that y will change. Y here is plus. So the sign will change to minus. Because of this minus that is being used to open bracket. In fact, what we just did here is minus 1 times plus y. That is what we did here. Minus 1 times plus y. Then minus times plus will give you minus. Different signs. Minus times plus will give you what? Minus. Then 1 times y will now give you y. But to avoid any stress, all this stress of this minus times plus, plus times, to avoid it, just remember, if a negative number opens bracket, the signs in the bracket will change. So this y here, 1 times y, which should give us y. The sign of that y, which is plus, will change to minus. So you bring down the minus, you have minus y. Again, that 1 times 2 will give us 2. But which sign will you write before writing the 2? Which sign will you write before writing the 2? Remember, I told you the sign of that term in the bracket will change. This is plus 2. So 1 times 2, which should give us plus 2, the plus will change to minus because you have minus outside the bracket, opening the bracket. So this becomes minus 1 times 2, giving you 2. You see that the sign of 2 has changed. From the question, it was plus. In what when we are opening up the bracket, we now change it to minus because a negative number is opening the bracket. So having done that, this will now be equal to 6 minus 3y. We can now collect like terms. We can now collect like terms. We are collecting like terms because the unknown, which is y here, between it and something else, and another term you have plus or minus. Like here now on the left-hand side, we have 3 terms all together now. This is one of the terms. This is another one. This is another. So we have 3 terms. Okay, so let's collect like terms. I want to move all the alphabet to the left as usual and all the numbers to the right. So I will come to the left. Which alphabet do we have on the left already? That is minus y. So I will write minus y. This minus 3y will now come to the left-hand side. As minus 3y is crossing, the minus will change to plus, and then have plus 3y. Then I have collected the like terms of alphabets together. I will now collect the like terms of numbers on the right-hand side. Before I write that, I am going to put equal to. I'll go to the right-hand side. The number I have already is 6, so write that 6. Minus 2 from the left is a pure number, so it is a like term of plus 6 on the right. I will move that minus 2 from the left to go to the right. So this becomes plus 2. This 5 is also a pure number. On the left-hand side, it is minus, it is plus 5. That's why you are not seeing any sign here. So this is plus 5. Move it to the right, it will change to minus 5. Minus y plus 3y is the same as plus 3y minus y, or simply 3y minus y. You are owing someone 1y, and you have 3 y's. From that 3y, remove 1 of the y and pay the person. You'll be left with 2y. Because you are left with 2y, you have that 2y. It belongs to you. It will be positive. So minus y plus 3y will give us 2y positive, equal to, simplify the right-hand side. 6 plus 2 will give you 8. 8 minus 5 will give you 3. Here, we are going to divide both sides by dbs by 2. If I divide 2y by 2, the 2 will divide each other, they will cancel out. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times y will give you that y. So just 2y over 2, the 2 will go off. Equal to the right-hand side, you have 3. Divided by the 2 you are using to divide. 3 divided by 2 cannot reduce. It can't reduce any further. So, but if you have this is improper fraction. Improper fraction. So I need to rewrite it in mixed fraction. Using the knowledge of multiplication together with division, I'll ask myself, from 2 times table, how many times can 2 go into 3? 2 can divide 3 only once, because 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, one time. The remainder will be 1. In division, I have taught you all these things under division. So go take the lesson. It's here on this channel. 2 can go into 3 one time, which is one whole number. Remainder 1 over that denominator 2. So this is our answer. This is our answer. We are done with this particular example, and I hope you understood what we have there. We are going to take our last question. We are going to take our last example. Remember, the new thing you learned here, the new thing you learned from this example 3 is that if minus opens bracket, the signs inside the bracket will do what? Change. Don't forget that. Because you are using minus to multiply something in the bracket. And when minus multiplies another sign, the sign will change. The sign that you're using the minus to multiply will change. Okay, friends, let's look at our last question. Find the unknown. Find the unknown in the equation. In the equation, find the unknown in the equation 4 minus 4 bracket a minus 1 equal to 3 minus open bracket 8a plus 3. So this is our final question for our class today. This is our final question for our class today. Are you ready? Okay, solution. So the question we are solving is 4 minus 4 bracket a minus 1 equal to 3 minus bracket 8a plus 3. Now, observe, notice that on the left-hand side, you have this bracket here. Just before the bracket, you have this 4. So that 4 the network doesn't want us to round off this class, but we'll have to round off. Asan 786 from India, thank you very much. Thank you for joining the class. Dilly Daniel, well done, sir. I'm improving. Right, Daniel? I am glad to hear that you're improving. This network, please, could you help us? Let's just round off. We're almost done. Almost done, network, please. Network, Prometheus, we are almost done. Please. Daily Daniel, I am glad to hear that you are improving in this. This network, just be patient. We're almost done. All right. Please be patient. I'm trying to ensure that the network is that the network allows us. Okay. What's happening? Once I come over here, the network will just. Please just be a bit patient, huh? Just be a bit patient. All right. Please be patient. Just trying to make sure that the network cooperates. Okay, let's go on. I think the network has come up a bit. Like I said, I opened this bracket. 4 times A will give us 4A. But before this 4A, the sign will be minus. Reason, this is positive A. And we're using a negative number to open the bracket. So this plus A will now change to minus A. All right, then we are going to use this 4 to multiply this 1. The sign of this one is minus. It's minus. Because you're using a negative number to open that bracket. You're using a negative number to open the bracket. This sign of 1, which is minus, will now change to plus. So I'm going to write plus first before using this 4 to multiply this 1. 4 times 1 will give you 4. It is still the same as doing minus times minus first. You see, you have minus 4, you are multiplying it by minus 1. So you do minus times minus first, which will give you plus. And then 4 times 1, which is 4. So you have that plus 4 there. Okay, now let us go to the left-hand side. Is it left or right-hand side, rather? On the right-hand side, we have this 3. I have to write down that 3. It is not this 3 that is opening the bracket, because after this 3, you have minus. So the number opening the bracket is not that 3. The number is invisible 1. I explained that with this particular question, example 3. So this invisible 1, we are using that 1 to open the bracket. But the 1 here is minus 1, is a negative number. And like I said, when a negative number opens a bracket, the signs in the bracket will do what? Change. So let us quickly do that. So this is 3. Now, this is invisible 1, or simply 1 times 8a. This 8a is positive, is positive, is positive. You are using a negative number to open that bracket. So this plus 8a will change to minus as you are using that minus 1 to multiply it. 1 times a will give you 8a. 1 times 8a will give you 8a. And the sign will be minus, because this plus 8a here, the plus will change to minus because of the minus, the negative number you are using to open that bracket. Then again, before we move on to this 3, we are going to use minus 1 to multiply plus 3. First, 1 times 3, we expect to get 3. But what will be the sign of the 3? It's going to be minus, because this plus 3, the plus will change to minus because of the minus we have outside the bracket. Okay? So, and it's still the same as doing minus times plus, which will give you minus. Then invisible 1 times 3, which will give you 3. You have done what is called expansion. You have done what is called expansion. Asan 783, yeah, so thank you. Thank you, sir. Love from India. Thank you very much. All right. I wish all of you the best in your endeavors. Okay, so let us simplify now. We are going to collect like terms. But see, if I want, you see, this is a pure number. This is a pure number. They are on the left-hand side. This is a pure number. This is a pure number. They are on the left-hand side. I can decide to do 4 plus 4 on the left first. So I will now get 8 minus 4a equal to, look at this, is a pure number. This is a pure number on the right-hand side. 3 minus 3 will give you 0. In fact, should I even do that? Let me do that this time around. Instead of just collecting like terms at this point, you can decide to collect like terms from here, straight on, and then solve. The choice is yours. That's what I've been doing. But I want to do something still, which is still the same. I want to reduce these numbers I have. On the left, see, on the left, I'm not doing anything like collecting like terms yet. It's just like rearranging terms on the left. I have a pure number 4. I have a pure number 4 on the left-hand side. They are like terms. So both of them are on the left-hand side. You can work them to get one single number. 4 plus 4. 4 plus 4 will give you 8. So permit me to write 8. 4 plus 4 will give you 8. Then you now have minus 4a. Just bring down that minus 4a. This 8 came from 4 plus 4. And then minus 8 minus 4a. So that at least you can get only one pure number on the left. Do the same thing on the right-hand side. 3 minus 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. 0. Then 0 minus 8a. So this is going to be 0 minus 8a. 0 minus 8a, that 0 is nothing. It can go off. So that you'll be left with just minus 8a. Don't mind me. I'm trying to also look at to be sure that the network is still cooperating. Okay, let us round off quickly. This 0, if you like, you leave it. If you don't like, you can just throw it away and just write your minus 8a. But I'm going to leave it there. I have my reason why I want to leave it, okay? At this point, you can now collect like terms, CLT, because the unknown part, you have either plus or minus between the unknown term and something else. Minus here, you can see minus here. So collect like terms. I'll be first in collecting like terms. On the left-hand side, I have minus 4a. You write down minus 4a as the alphabet on the left. Move minus 8a to come to that left. If minus 8a crosses equality sign, you see, in this case of like term, now you are collecting like term. It's not the same as what I did here. This one, I did not collect like terms. I only grouped like terms to simplify them because it is still on the same side. It is still on the same side of the equation. But at this point now, I'm collecting like terms. So if you picking one of the terms to go to the other side of the equation, the sign will change. So this minus 8a coming to the left, it will cross this equal to, it will change to plus 8a. I've written the alphabet on the left. I want to now move on to the right. Write your equal to, put your equal to. On that right hand side, I have 0 there already. 0 is a pure number, yeah. It's a pure real number, okay? So I'll write it, and then this 8, I'll move it. 8 is a pure number. It will move because the like term of this 0. If this 8, this is plus 8 here. If it moves to the right hand side, it will change to minus 8. Then you simplify this part. This is minus 4a plus 8a. If you do minus 4a plus 8a, you are going to get 4a, positive 4 plus 4a. Yeah, because this is minus 4, you are owing 4, and you have 8 of something. So remove 4 from the 8 you have, you'll be left with 4. And that will be equal to 0 minus 8 will give you minus 8. 0 minus 8 will give you minus 8. 0 means you don't have anything. Minus 8 means you are owing 8. So 0, you don't have anything and you are owing someone 8. You will still be owing that 8. And because you are owing, we fix minus. Now at this point, you DBS by DBS by 4. Divide both sides by 4. Let me conclude it here, please. Okay? Let me conclude it here. Divide both sides by 4. Let me conclude it here. Are we together? I think the network is still on. Good. So watch, I'm going to have 4a divided by 4. Of course, if you divide it by 4, you'll be left with 4. You'll be left with a. So I'll now write a equal to divide minus 8 by 4. Minus 8 over 4. 8 divided by 4 will give you 2. Now that 8 has minus. The 4 has plus. Minus divided by plus will give you minus. I told you when I listed the secret number 1, number 2, number 3. Different minus. Plus times minus will give you minus. The same thing, minus divided by plus will give you minus. Minus times plus will still give you minus because they are the same signs. Therefore, conclude that 8 divided by 4 is 2. But then minus divided by plus will be minus. So that 2 we have minus attached to it. So the value of a is minus 2. The value of a is minus 2. So my dear friends, this is how we are done with our basic class lesson today in mathematics, right? And I hope you've learned something wonderful. something that otherwise maybe in your school, you might not learn it in this calm way. But you have to understand that in school, there are many people being taught at the same time. And you don't expect that ordinarily a teacher will now just focus on one person. All right, so we are done with what I want you to learn today. Okay, we are done with what I want you to learn in our class today, equations involving brackets. And from our class, you have learned how to open brackets, okay, how to remove bracket from something, and when positive number opens bracket, when negative number opens bracket, you have learned all of these things, and that is cool. With what you have learned here, you have known how to do expansion. Because there's a topic in maths we call expansion of algebraic processes. You have learned all of this, and that is wonderful. Okay, so I'll be seeing you in our next class. I think our next class is tomorrow, being Saturday. So make sure you are available. That tomorrow will be taking the last part of simple equation, and that last part of simple equation will be word problem. Word problem leading to simple equation. Word problem leading to simple equation. Make sure you don't miss the class. And if you don't want to miss it, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Once you click that notification bell, like I said, please tap on that all so that you will be receiving all the notification, all the information about our classes, okay? In that last part of simple equation, word problem leading to simple equation, imagine you are told that a man is 20 years older than his child. Okay, in 5 years, the man will be five years older. What is the age of the man and the son? You know, those kind of questions and other things. And questions like, okay, if you have twice a number is the same as the sum of 5 and the product of the number and 8. Find the number. You know, all those interesting aspects of simple equations. We're going to deal with it tomorrow. It's going to be a wonderful class as always. Love you, friends. Always have a wonderful time, because I'll be leaving you now. Make sure you check back to take this lesson again in case there is any area you are not cleared. Okay, if you have your question, when you come back to retake it, you can type your question. Okay, just drop it in the comment box and I'll respond. Share the link to this video. Invite your friends, your neighbors, teachers. Okay, yeah, teachers, to subscribe to this channel, especially those that are taking basic level of learning, so they can also know how to effectively, all right, impart this knowledge to our little ones. Bye-bye.